Hi, Dane Clement here with Great Dane Graphics Installs. I've been doing screen printing separation since 1986. Manually, way back in the day, Ruby Lith and all that fun stuff, right? And then started doing seps in Photoshop, manually using alpha channels and all that sort of thing. What a hassle and a big pain that was. This software that I'm going to show you in this series of videos came out, I think, 1995 or 1996. I can't remember, but I know I was using it by 96. Been using it every day since, right? So doing the steps manually, when you set it up on screen, you never know what you're going to get, basically. So you have to do your steps, print your films, burn your screen, set it up, all that sort of thing before you know what it's going to look like, right? This software is designed for screen printing from the jump, right? It's written by screen printing guys. What you see on screen is what you get on press. That's one of the cool things about this software. And there's a lot of cool things about this stuff, right? You can create separations that look like you printed 12 colors and you might only have a 6-color manual press. Most people do. This software is built for that. It's got some unique tricks and a cool little tool that takes like a half a second to work with. And it can cut down an extra color. So if you have a 4-color manual, there's a bunch of those guys out there, and if you're one of them, you can still print killer looking stuff on that 4-color with one of the tricks, and you'll see it in these videos here today. So this series of videos is not a, hey, this is Separation Studio and everything you can do with it. That's probably a whole nother series of videos down the road. With this series of videos that I won't talk about here today is what I do to separate certain things. Let me go ahead and show you in Photoshop here. So we have this image. This is a full color image that we're going to separate. If you notice my layers over here, it is on a transparent background. So my artwork is on a transparent background. That's key. The next key thing is you go to image size, and make sure you have high resolution. That's 300 pixels per inch. I'm golden. I can print anything I want. So we're going to separate this guy for black shirts and color shirts. If I come over here, again, this is a monochromatic image. If you got to get those team colors in the stands on a Friday night, right? Do something like this. If I turn off the background here, you see what we did. It's just a converted to colors. We took all the same colors from that full color image and just made them purples, right? And then if you go over here, this is a grayscale image. I'm gonna turn off the background for my black shirt. That's what we're gonna print it on. So you can print this in one color and it'll look all right. But man, if you want a super sweet image with all the details, if you take a look at what you see here, you see all the highlights, all the shadows, and all those tones in between. Run 3 screens, and I'm going to show you what that means and exactly how to do that. I just wanted to show you all of these designs are on a transparent background. That is key because the software is going to have to call out to it to generate any black printers if you might need those, that sort of thing. So knowing that, there's a lot to do, but it's super quick and super easy because this software allows you to print like you got a big press and you might not have one, but it's super easy. Let's take a look. Here we are in Separation Studio. Basically, it's kind of laid out sort of like Photoshop. You get tools on the left-hand side, panels on the right-hand side. So this is how I would separate this file. I'm going to go ahead and file open, and I'm going to pull in my transparent background high-res file. I hit open to that. And when you see the image on screen, your raw separations are done. It literally analyzes the RGB light as it opens the file, and you're good to go. So if you've never used the software before, or if you just downloaded the trial version, that sort of thing, or maybe this is how you operate it, but I'm going to make one change to my preferences and my layout here, just a personal preference of mine, right? So if you look here at the bottom, here's all our channels. That's the colors that it looks for. It previews it in the color, which is kind of cool if you like that. But to me, it's not the way I like to work personally, so I'm going to make a change to that. And the way I do that is I'm just going to go to Separation Studio up here at the top, come down to Preferences, and I'm going to change my view mode right here to film from the ink, right? And I'm going to hit OK. And now you can see at the bottom, it looks like little film positives, right? That is how I like to work. You can do it or you don't have to do it. Once that's set up, it will always open up that way until you change it. First thing I do, there's my image. It looks great. That looks super cool like it is. But if we don't have a big press and can't print all these colors, we need to start kind of consolidating and crunching the colors down. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the top of my screen and I'm going to hit this auto adjust button. And when I do, I want you to look at the image on screen. It juices up and gets really saturated. It looks awesome now, right? So the next thing I like to do is this. I'm going to come down to this white base. This is your base This is my red. Here's my blue, gold. All my separations, right, are in there. And here's my final white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click my base, and I'm going to open it in a new window. And it's going to put a new window right here. So I'm just going to drag this one over. And now, if I right-click, I'm going to view it as film. So there's my film positive for my white base. There's my red, the blue, the gold, purple, right? Here's some green, a little bit in the eyebrow shadow areas, which I'm going to not print, but we're going to work with it. There's always gray. The only time I print a gray is if it's a lot of gray that I have to control. And I mean like an elephant or a battleship or a gray wolf or something. Then I'm going to print it. But right now, we're not going to print this guy, but we're not going to just throw him away. We got to do things with that data. That's a lot of information that we want to make sure we can manipulate and handle. And then here's my final white right there, right? What I will do is this. Automatic. I open up an image. I hit auto adjust. The next thing I'm going to do is come down to my final white. I'm going to right click it. And I'm going to adjust that separation. And it's going to give me this window. So what I want to do is I want to lighten the saturation or take some of that data out. So watch what happens when I move this low saturation slider here. See that? You see how it's just slowly getting rid of the information or lightening the information, the density of the info on that particular separation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it over like one click, automatic, all the time. The highlight whites, I think, come in a little bit too strong, but it's designed so you can manipulate it and control it yourself, right? So what I'm going to do is I move it over one click, always. Kind of like my starting point. Now I'm ready to start messing around with and doing some things. So if we look here at this image, we have, it's beautiful. It's ready to go, but we got to cut the colors down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my separations here at the top, and I'm going to merge the gray. And if you notice down here, that gray screen disappears. It takes that data, applies it to my two whites. So when we print, we'll have gray information. It's just not going to be its own screen. And then now what I want to do is I want to print one purple color. I don't want to make the color with my blue and my purple because that would allow me to, reduce one screen. And then we're going to take this little bitty green information and turquoise information and combine them to that purple screen. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my blue channel down here at the bottom, and I'm just going to drag it over my purple, right? And when I'm over it like that, you see the channel highlights, right, in the same color. So if I let go of my mouse, it says, you want to multiply or darken this information? I'm going to go ahead and multiply it. So now all the blue info is now on my purple channel or my purple screen, and you see the purple. This is the purple that the spot process looks for. It's the Pantone purple. Much pinker than I want, but we can fix that later, right? So what I'm going to do now is come back down here and I'm going to grab my green separation and do the same thing. Drag it over my purple. I'm going to multiply that. So it's just applying the green data to the purple, and now I'm going to do the same thing with the turquoise. I'm going to take my turquoise data, drag it over, and hit the multiply. So now look, we cutting this thing down. We got 5 colors here, which is pretty cool. With my main channel selected over here, I can double click my proof positive, and that's my image the way it looks. And again, over on this side here is my separation. I can close that for now. We can open it up and anytime you want to work with some of these things. So I'm looking at, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. I will tell you this, I don't like this pinky color purple that it looked for. So let's go ahead and change that, right? So there's a couple ways we can do it. So I'm going to come over here and the top here, just so you notice, these are the t-shirt colors. So if you want to change the background, which we'll do later, Fruit of the Loom, Gildan colors, Hanes colors, those things are kind of built into the software already. And I'm going to come down here. Here's my spot process colors. That's all the colors that it looks for every single time it runs. I can have a custom color in here, Wilflex, Rutland, Pantone matching system stuff. So let's go ahead and select my purple channel, and let's go and grab a Rutland color. And because I'm a Rutland guy, I like those inks when I have my shop here. So let's just do an ultraviolet. And if I hit this little bucket right there, and I'm going to come back over here and double click my proof positive. There it is. It changed the ink in my screen to match what I had here, right? So now, if it's standard colors you want to use from those ink systems there, that's cool. If you have numbers, let's say RGB values from another ink system, if you go over here to my custom, and I'm going to hit this add button, and let's just say we got some RGB values, which I actually do. Just a purple that we made here, 35, and then 214, right? So I can make my own color, hit OK. I got to name it. I'm going to say my purple. So there we go. So now if I I selected my ultraviolet screen, right? I'm going to click on this. I'll hit that button there. So you notice it changed it. So now I'm going to come back over to my proof positive. So now I have the purple that I'm looking for, because that's the color I'm going to mix and put in my screen. So you got built-in ink manufacturer's colors, or you can custom do your own. Super cool, super easy. On a black shirt, we're done. It's ready to roll. I got my base and my other colors. But if we're going to print this on a color shirt, which we will, I'm going to need to generate a black printer. And I'm going to go to the top here where it says black generation. I'm going to click it. And it gives me 3 different blacks to choose from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one of each. Now, you're not going to have to do this. I'm going to show you the differences and when and why you might use them, and then we'll just pick one. So right now, it always wants you to call back to your original, right? My transparent background, because that's where it's going to pull the black data from. I hit open, and it gives me my skeletal black there. So let's do this again. Let's do my detailed. I hit open. It tells me here, go. There we go. So there's my my skeletal and my detailed are in there. And we'll do one more for the sharper black. So it gives us these 3 options. And the cool thing is, it allows us, let's go ahead and go to my skeletal. I'm going to open it in a new window. Come over here, right? Right click it, view it as film. So there is my skeletal data, right? So that's my channel that has the smallest amount of black information. This is designed for like really dark shirts, maybe navy blues, forest greens, that sort of thing. Then watch when I hit the detail black. See, that's got a little bit more information. A lot of people use this one quite a bit. And then we have the sharper black, which is my favorite personally. I think it's got more detail. It's got the most detail. And by the way, this is the print order that you're going to use. If I'm going to print this on a white shirt, I'm going to use a sharper typically. If I'm going to print on a colored shirt, which we're going to do here, I'm going to probably go with a detail black. So let's go ahead and get rid of this sharper one. So we're not going to use that. So I just wanted to show you the differences in those different black generated screens there, right? So right now, if you look, here's my SEPs. I'm going to print my white base. I'm going to flash it. And then I'm going to print the black, wet on wet, all the rest of these colors, right? So that black ink literally mixes with the purples and things and make darker shades of those colors. So right now, we're ready to print anything we want. All we have to do, if it's a black shirt, you just don't print your black ink. Let the shirt show through. And if you're printing on a color shirt, you add that black to finish it out. Now, here's a for instance. Let's say we're going to print this guy on a purple shirt. So we can come up to the top here. These are some stock colors that you might want to find for shirts. You can move this little arrow here. We got Fruit of the Loom shirts. Let's go ahead and do that maybe. I don't know. We can find us a purple. And if I mouse over it, it's going to say that's a dark purple. So let's go ahead and choose that. Click on this little t-shirt icon there, and it changes the background and gives us a pretty darn good realistic preview of the way it's going to look. Now, I will tell you this. The way I like to work it, when I'm doing SEPs only, if I'm going to do a comp or something for a customer, I can take a screen grab of this. I'm good to go. But if I'm doing my SEPs, I don't change it off of black, because if it looks good on a black, that looks fantastic, it's going to print on any color shirt I want to go on. So in order for speed, like if it's in-house and you just need to SEP it to make sure it's going to work once it hits press, just keep it on the black background, make your adjustments, and if it looks good, go with it. You're going to be all right. I mean, that's it. That's how I would run my SEPs. This guy is ready to print. Super quick, super easy. In the next series of videos, I'm going to show you the other versions that we talked about in the intro.